Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, this is Meet the Movie Press, roundtable movie news and commentary from the industry's premier film journalists.
Happy Halloween! This is Meet the Movie Press. I am Mark Reilly, editor-in-chief of schmoesknow.com.
Evening, gentlemen.
Oh, boy.
Jeff Sneider, film reporter, TheWrap.com.
That you are, my friend, and welcome, everyone, to another Meet the Movie Press, a special Halloween edition. We have an awesome guest coming in a couple minutes, but we wanted to start this out, do a nice horror special Meet the Movie Press.
Yeah, we've got a special guest. We've got Hopeful News Breaks.
Yeah, we're going to do a Hopeful News Break. We're going to talk some horror news out there, some favorite horror films. And guys, thank you. We are on the live chat, youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. You can get us there, join in on the fun, and always, you are rating and subscribing, keeping the lights here on the spaceship alive. Thank you for that. Keep doing it. Rate, comment, tell your friends. I bet your mom would like us, especially Jeff Sneider. And how are you, my friend?
I'm good. What are you supposed to be dressed as here, Mark? You look like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
I am the Stay Puft Mouth. No, I am Clark Kent.
Show us a little of that S, baby. Stand up. Let's see it. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. See, I'm looking at the live video, with this, like, extra thing and the fat in my face, I do look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No, you look fantastic. I like the glasses and everything. You just need a little curl.
I do. I know. I have
one of those strands of beautiful hair that you have and let it hang down like a question mark.
No, I have this weird hair that this is what it does. If I try anything, why do you think I wear a hat every time? Because I don't like doing my hair.
Well, at least your costume is recognizable. No one knows what the hell I am.
Yeah.
People think I'm like Lieutenant Dangle, because this is a Lieutenant Dangle outfit technically.
Okay, yeah, I see.
I am Michael Angarano's character, John Wayne, from the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Yeah.
Which is a really good indie that was at Sundance this year and comes out on DVD in a couple of weeks, so be sure and check that out.
Haven't seen it, but I see the.
Well, that's because there's no superheroes, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Or Star Wars. There's no Jedi.
Although Ezra Miller's in it. He's the Flash.
Yeah, he is.
We'll see. Halloween-themed edition. And before we bring on our guest, one of our listeners told me to call you out.
Oh, okay.
On something.
Yeah, I like should be
Mark
interesting.
doesn't know what's about to happen.
No.
I'm told that on the main show last night, you may have said that The Blind Side is your favorite Sandra Bullock movie.
Yeah. One of them, yeah.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Like, really?
Yeah.
You can't get anything better than The Blind Side?
Well, no, The Blind Side, Speed, that's another of my favorite. We were talking Sandra Bullock movies, and everybody already brought up The Usual Suspects, and I brought up The Blind. Really?
She wasn't in The Usual Suspects, Mark.
No, shut up. The Blind Side, really? Is this a universal opinion that The Blind Side is not a good movie?
No. I actually like The Blind Side. I'm not here to talk shit about The Blind Side.
Oh, okay.
But to say it's her best movie or performance, even though I know she won the Oscar for it,
sure.
I think that is a little crazy.
Well, I think we were talking, I also threw out Demolition Man. Because, I mean... Demolition
She's done a lot of good work.
She's done a lot of good work, Speed. But yeah, those are all the usual suspects were thrown out. So I wanted to, and I had a lot of people on Twitter telling me, Blind Side, talk about The Blind Side.
Don't listen to the Twitter people. Make up your own mind. And we are going to talk about Sandra Bullock later in the show because there was some exciting news that came out recently.
Yeah,
not confirmed by any of the trades,
playlist.
But I believe them. Yeah, so we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But let's bring out our guest, huh? I'll let you do the honors.
Yeah, let's bring out our guest. This is a good friend of mine. She's awesome. She's a horror person. She writes for Nerdist. And she is Clark Wolf coming at you. Woo! Been trying to get Clark on the show. You have canned applause, by the way.
Thank you.
There's actually, as I always say, the applause is coming from the studio audience.
I'm going to make a Sandra Bullock reference. Put on the cans.
Put on
the cans.
You don't know this, but Sandra Bullock is like my hero.
Really?
She's my
everyone's hero.
Favorite actress
Get in line.
and producer, etc. Let me adjust my hat for a moment.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we can get the costume.
We did a mic test, but we never Practice this.
No,
okay.
When you add costumes into the mix.
Exactly. I have a lot of accessories today.
Yeah. Hey, and by the way, Blindside is a good film, says Zeno Hour.
It is a good film.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would debate that it's a good film.
Yeah,
but she's just done so many.
Come on.
And then Rich Cruel Sugar says The Blind Side is shit. So we are split down the middle here on the live chat.
Today's podcast is dedicated to The Blind Side. We're not going to talk about anything else. It's just an hour of Blind Side talk.
No.
You know, one of my favorite Sandra Bullock performances is as Harper Lee in Infamous.
Dude, I was talking about that yesterday with my editor.
That's a
And
great
the thing
movie.
Is, Capote
Underrated.
overshadowed
Totally.
Infamous so hard.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Infamous is so good.
My editor was saying he actually prefers Infamous,
Yeah.
and I thought that her work as Harper Lee was excellent.
She's great.
So-
Yeah, I love Infamous. I would prefer it to Capote.
Yeah.
That's just me. Unpopular opinions.
Well, we have them here on Meet the Movie Press. A lot.
Everything is welcome.
Yeah, so let's start here. Clark, tell us, how are you first? And then, how did you get in this crazy game that is the Movie Press? And how did you finally end up over at Nerdist? Kind of give us a rundown.
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Trying to stay busy. Halloween's always a busy time for me because I am such a big horror fan.
Yeah.
And basically, how I got involved with Nerdist was I've been a fan of the brand for a really, really long time. And I think they do really cool stuff, and I love the content over there. And so they were looking for writers, and a lot of the work that I do is as a host or a personality, but I write a lot of my own segments.
Yeah.
And so I just sent over those writing samples, specifically a lot of them focusing on genre, and I like the politics of horror. That's kind of my little hook into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I sent them over, and they called me, and they asked me to come on board their freelance team, and I've been working with them for almost 2 years now.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, not exclusively though. So if anybody wants to hire me,
You heard
I'm
it here,
available.
folks.
But
That's
I
breaking
love
news
them.
here.
Yeah, breaking news. No, but I love the Nerdist team. They're very sweet, and I'm happy to be a part of that family.
You get to hang out with Chris?
We're besties.
Nice.
No.
Nice.
Although I will tell you, one time AMC Network sent a Cinnabon addressed to Chris Hardwick because they were promoting Better Call Saul.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Sent a Cinnabon addressed to Chris Hardwick to my apartment, and I was like,
Interesting.
You guys are living together
yeah,
now.
and I was like, first of all, Chris Hardwick does not live in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay. Second of all, does AMC really not know where to find Chris Hardwick? Like he's like,
right? Yeah.
You know,
'cause-
like-
have you heard of a show called Talking Dead?
Or-
I don't know. What else?
Talking Bad
Talking
or
Bad.
Talking Mad or whatever they were doing, or
That's
I don't know
funny.
what. But so it was ridiculous. So no, I am not best friends with Chris. But I will say, every time I see Chris, like, at an event or out of something where I'm not there for work, I'm just there. And a friend will go over and they'll say hi to him, and then I'll always introduce myself and I'll say, "Hi, Chris, I'm Clark." And one time he's like, "I know who you are, Clark," because I'm like, well, I don't see you regularly, and I don't know if you meet so many people.
Sure,
you
of
know?
course.
But
I work at your company.
yeah, he's like, I know Clark.
Yeah, that's nice.
It was kind of
well.
funny.
Your Nerdist stuff is how I actually thought of asking you to come on this special Halloween edition because we were talking about it last week, and then I watched your what is it? Your stand on torture porn.
Yeah.
Wait, what is your stand?
Yeah,
I want to
on
hear this.
horror torture porn, which I loved. I
Thank
loved,
you.
and I please explain.
Well,
to Jeff.
basically, I really hate the term torture porn. I hate it.
Yeah.
I think it is a really disrespectful way to undercut an entire genre. And specifically, I really don't like the term when it's applied to James Wan's Saw, Eli Roth's Hostel, and Alex Aj's The Hills Have Eyes, because I think Saw was unfairly judged by posters and by clever editing. I mean, during the 10-year anniversary,
Saw's brilliant.
Yeah, Saw is actually a very good movie, but when you go back and watch it, which I did last year for the 10-year anniversary, it's kind of like with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's not a whole lot of blood. You don't actually see all that much, but because the set is so disgusting and the editing is really aggressive and everything's so much implied, I think people filled in the blanks themselves and remember it as being far worse than it actually was.
Yeah, it's the idea of these contraptions.
Exactly.
What they might do to you, but you're not actually seeing it. do them.
That's right, because they didn't even have the money for it anyway. They couldn't show you anyway. And then with The Hills Have Eyes and Hostel specifically, I've written about this much more extensively. It was hard with that vlog because the vlog's like 5 minutes long and you're trying to talk about...
You have so many points you want to make. Yeah,
and this is such a hot button issue. I knew that vlog was going to get people's attention because it doesn't matter what you say or how you say it. The second people see the words torture porn, they lose their minds.
Yeah.
It's a very visceral reaction, ironically. But with Hostel and The Hills Have Eyes, I think they are highly political films, and they were created during the time where we were involved in the war in Iraq, and when torture was being shown on the news, and beheadings were coming up on YouTube, and all these things. And I really, really strongly believe that both of those movies were very, very politically charged films.
Interesting.
I like that take on it. And I happen to love Hostel.
I like Hostel a lot.
I think it's Eli Roth's best movie. And then The Hills Have Eyes. You're talking about the remake. I'm assuming.
Alex Hodges
one of the better remakes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
love it.
It was. In that movie, I wouldn't call it torture, but that was just, shock. It just got me as a horror fan. I was like, oh my God.
When I saw Hills Have Eyes in the theater, that was, so like, if you're a horror fan, a lot of times you read about, what's an example? The Cold War and Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Or you read about, Last House on the Left being sort of like talking about the aggression of Vietnam. Or, these filmmakers who were taking a stand against something. And when I was in early college and saw The Hills Have Eyes in theaters, that was the first time where I felt like, oh my God, I'm seeing my frustration, because it's, Alex Hodges is a French filmmaker, and this was post Freedom Fries and Freedom Toast and all of these things, and there's a lot of, the American flag is everywhere in the movie, and they play the Star Spangled Banner where he's actually like, it's just, anyway, so that was the first time where I organically in the moment felt that same feeling. And
I feel like film students are going to be watching this episode and writing their thesis papers.
I'm like, see, this is why. This is why Clark is on the Halloween edition. Schooling us on, like, I watch horror movie and I'm like, that was a cool death. She's like, the symbolism here is well done. And that's, it's because we'll get to our favorite horror movies because I think it's definitely a sign of time, including my horror movies. They're like time capsules for that period, and we'll get to that soon. But that's amazing. So how did that vlog go? You said it was it's a hot button topic. So did you get a lot of, I don't want to say hate or trolls, but you know what I'm talking about?
I did. You do. Well, first of all, it's different because, we all know with different forms of media where you put up content. Facebook, for instance, people don't watch or read anything. They just comment. It's just like a comment board.
And they could see just the title.
Exactly. Yes.
And they won't click through. They're like, oh, you're wrong. It's like, did you read the article?
And the title of mine was Why I'm Defending Torture Porn.
Oh, right.
And so it's like, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
But then there were some people who sought me out to say thank you because I'm a horror fan and I feel the exact same way. There were some people who said, I never thought of it like that. I'm so glad you made this. And that was really exciting. But, and I had a handful of people, honestly, and I like Eli Roth a lot as a person, and I like a lot of his movies, but he is so divisive for any audience. The second you say Eli Roth's anything, people go, oh, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
But, that's whatever.
Which means he hit a nerve and is doing well.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, as someone who was having a conversation last night about a Serbian film.
Oh, yeah, which I've never seen.
This stuff doesn't even register to me as things that could get a rise out of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Saw and Hostel. Like, this is the mainstream, almost McDonald's version.
Right.
So true, you're right.
And Jeff, are you in general, I don't know if we've really talked about, are you a horror fan?
Yeah, dude, I'm a sick fuck.
Okay.
I'm a real twist.
This I know. I'm just wondering about your horror taste.
Yes.
Should we do our favorite horror movies?
That's how I fell in love with movies, was watching horror movies. So
yeah, I have a version of that
Absolutely.
too. I remember going with my sister and sneakily renting Friday the 13th, the original, and watching it at my grandmother's house of all places, and being like, oh my God, and it freaked me out. So there you go.
Let's talk about some of our favorites.
Sure.
Absolutely.
What do you like to recommend?
Me?
Clark.
Clark. Let's start with Clark.
Well,
It's the glasses. I can't see who you're looking at.
So a general, for people who are like, I want to watch something scary, but I don't want to watch people get dismembered or, violently murdered. I point them to James Wan's The Conjuring.
Oh, great
I think
pick.
The Conjuring is a great, great movie in general, but I also think it is scary as hell. It still scares me.
It missed my top 5, like pretty close. I mean, I came out of that movie going, this is one of the best horror movies ever.
I think it's a new classic. I really
Absolutely,
do. But
I agree.
I have a top 7.
Let's do it.
wow,
Yes.
okay.
So
do it.
I'll rattle them off for you.
Okay.
The Hills Have Eyes is on there, the remake. So I love
Nice.
that. Scream, Wes Craven's Scream. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
The Exorcist. Eli Roth's Cabin Fever.
Ooh, Cabin
The
Fever.
Descent.
Ooh, yeah.
And, I'm missing one. Oh, what is it? Oh, I'll come up with it.
It'll come, I'm sure.
There's one more. And I think it's a classic. Oh, I'll remember it.
Speaking of The Descent, I got to speak with, I got to talk to Neil Marshall. He did a bit in the Tales of Halloween.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that
I
yet.
haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, I want to see it as well, but did cover, and he was so nice.
He's
And-
the coolest.
Yeah, and just like as a throwaway question, Freddy or Jason, he was talking to me like a dad. He's like, well, probably Freddy because Jason squandered his potential. And I was like, wow, okay.
I'm not mad at you, Jason. I'm just disappointed.
I'm
That's a
so
great
disappointed in
answer.
you. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So,
All right, Mark, what about you?
my top 5, yeah, they're all oldies. I share The Exorcist. That's my number 2.
So good.
Yeah.
So number 1
fantastic.
is hands down Halloween, the original.
Yeah.
My favorite
Yeah, me
horror
too.
movie all time. Number 2 is Exorcist. I actually wrote them down because I forget that. Number 3 is Poltergeist.
Oh, I love
Okay.
Poltergeist, the original, is one of my favorite movies all time. Number 4, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, and number 5, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Those are all old guys.
I
They're-
can't argue
they're-
with that choice. You're
yeah.
my boy, buddy.
They're the oldies but the goodies, and I hold them in high esteem, and I do compare them in all the remakes. Actually, the Texas Chainsaw remake I did not hate. I thought it was pretty damn good. But all the other remakes, I mean, the Halloween remake, go fuck yourself. I hate that one. Hate it so much. Okay, that's what I have to say.
Next week's guest will be Rob Zombie.
Oh boy.
man.
Yeah, I like his other movies, but not his Halloween's.
Well, I
Not
would
at all.
do. I wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, Scream is obviously one of my favorite movies. Period.
Yeah.
Halloween is definitely my favorite horror movie. I would say, but there were 2 that did not go mentioned today. I grew up the son of a Candyman.
Oh.
And so we actually had a Candyman poster hanging in our house. It was a very, well-decorated home, but in the middle of the living room, there's a Candyman poster.
Was it Farewell to the Flesh?
That's with a
Hilarious.
tagline, "A little altered to suit my father's name."
Nice.
And I loved Candyman. There's a certain mythology there.
Yeah.
With him, it's really interesting. It's brutal. The music's amazing. It's Philip Glass, right?
Yeah,
Doing
the music's
score.
so good.
I think it was one of the first time I saw boobs in a movie with Virginia Madsen stripping
Sure.
down. So
That's right.
I don't know what it was, but I loved Candyman, and I also loved Zua Dembala.
What's that?
That was a horrible rendition of the Chucky curse, the voodoo curse. But fucking
I know, it's like, who that?
Dembala, give me the power, I beg of you. No.
You like Child's Play?
I fucking love Child's
Wow.
Play. There's something about every child, every child's toy being maybe a little bit scary, or and then no one believing kids, like whenever they say
Right.
anything.
Oh, sorry, that movie, when you see that doll run in the background,
Yes.
I just was like, no.
Dude, Child's Play is fucking awesome.
No, yeah, it's a great movie. And I appreciate, horror is like the one genre that, I mean, look, there are sites dedicated to horror.
Sure.
You don't have that really, I mean, well, maybe with Star Wars.
Or
you do.
superheroes.
For
yeah.
superheroes, I
There's
guess they're
Dread
getting...
Central, but there's no Drama Central.
Right, I know.
Courtroom Drama Central.
Ourfavoritecomedies.com. Hey, wait a minute.
I thought of number 7. I thought
Do
when
it.
I said
Ooh,
it,
what is it?
It's Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell.
It is
Interesting.
100%. I love Drag Me to Hell so much, and I know it's a recent movie.
Yeah, no,
but
please.
I
It's a good
love
movie.
because it's everything I love about Sam Raimi
Yeah.
with a female protagonist.
There you
which
go.
it's my jam.
So yeah, I
Jam.
mean, if
That's
I,
my jam.
If I were to go Raimi, I would always go Evil Dead the original and then Evil Dead 2. But I think Drag Me to Hell
Yeah.
is like the spiritual
Yes, it is.
successor of
Evil Dead remains one of the only horror movies I've had to shut off halfway because
Really?
I was so scared.
No,
I watched it when
nice.
I was like 14 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Obviously, I went back and finished because I'm a real man.
Yeah, you are. Look at that costume.
Man's man.
So yeah, that horror, a lot of good stuff. Not really so much this year.
No.
It's a pretty weak year. I feel like around Halloween time.
Well, let's get to some of the news that's out there and talk about maybe some of the because I did bring up in talking to Clark Paranormal Activity, Ghost Dimension.
Yes.
Are you a fan of the series, Jeff, at all? Because I actually really love the series.
I do too.
I watched the first one and liked it, and then I think I watched 2. Maybe I saw 3. I can't remember, but I definitely stopped.
2,
around that
I
point.
love 2.
I love 2.
You and I are the only people, by the way.
It was funny that people were rating them all
I remember now.
Part 2 got me. That one scene where all of a sudden just all the drawers and everything open up.
Yes.
It was really great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ghost Dimension yet because it's a well-known joke here on Meet the Movie Press. I do not see movies, but I'm changing that. But no, I want to see Ghost Dimension. I just didn't have a chance to get it because I know it's coming out VOD as well. They're doing a cross-platform kind of thing, which I feel is interesting. So we'll see how that will go.
It is interesting with the windows and breaking them down.
Yeah, because it everybody's saying now it bombed, which I technically in theaters it kind of did. We're at brand fatigue right now.
Bomb. It's like, what did it make? 10 million?
Yeah, probably made back its budget.
And also,
it almost doubled it probably.
It had the highest per screen gross of any Paranormal Activity movie yet.
See, there you go. That's where the media can turn it around.
There's a lot fewer theaters, so they were fuller.
That's right.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm sure it's going to make a killing on VOD because that's where you want to watch a movie like that.
Yeah.
I mean.
So you saw it?
I did.
Okay, did you like it?
I didn't not like it. Now, here's the thing. Because I am a huge fan of this franchise. In fact, it's probably my favorite horror franchise.
Really?
And I say that
That's
because up until a certain point, the movie had such wonderful mythology and really kept a story going for a long time. With 4, it completely bottomed out. It was like nothing happened in that movie. I mean, no new information was presented, and the climax at the end is the exact same climax as 3 with the coven.
Oh God!
And
see,
so
I thought we were going to the Katie line, right? Toby, and like what the connection is to that family.
So
how do you name a ghost Toby?
it's really funny, actually. I wouldn't want to know that too. But so with 4, they really dropped the ball, and then the marked ones I enjoy very much.
Yeah, I saw the marked ones, and I saw how it connected to everything, which I liked them doing that, but it didn't stick with me like the first 3 did.
Well, and I feel like it was a weird choice to make after 4 was slightly unsuccessful, to go into a spin-off and then come back to what is, because the Ghost Dimension is, number 5 in the chronological series, or I'm sorry, in the, paranormal series, but number 6 in the overall franchise. So anyway,
crazy.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and yeah, I know. But
they're getting there with this found footage, But I appreciate that actually.
So here's what I would say about that with 6, or with Ghost Dimension. For the fans of the movie who are there for the 6th movie in the franchise, we get how the franchise works.
Right.
We need to get rid of found footage. It didn't need to be there at this point.
That's a great call.
And additionally, so the movie is too much bound to the overall franchise to bring new people in. If a new person who had never seen a Paranormal Activity movie went and saw Ghost Dimension, they'd be confused.
Right. Okay.
But for the people who were there for the 6th movie, I was a little bored at some points because I was like, we know. Can we please? Finally, they introduced new characters.
Okay.
And I'm like, but we have 5 movies worth of really interesting characters that were all doing stuff. Like, where is Katie? Where is Hunter? What happened to the daughter of the family in the 2nd movie, the stepdaughter?
Exactly. I was hoping they would tie some of that together. We've lost you, haven't we, Jeff?
Sorry, Jeff.
It's all right. I'm
nerding out a little bit over Paranormal Activity.
I dig this. Well,
go for it. Enjoy yourself.
So I still am going to see it because, like you, Clark, I am a fan of the franchise.
And I do think that there's enough good in it to where it is not a bad movie by any means. I don't. And the 3D is cool.
Yeah.
But
looks cool.
It's cool, and it's not necessarily shoddy. It's just kind of like, and I think the acting is good, but it's unfortunately for me as a big fan of the franchise, it's just a little too late at this point.
Too little, too late. You hear that, Blumhouse?
Yeah. That's Bloomhouse, I thought.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Off air, they were making fun of me. Hey guys, on the live chat, drop in what you're thinking about the Paranormal Activity franchise, and kind of, is it dead? Is it kind of no pun, I guess. Are we going to get another one maybe? We're going to see with this VOD release. That's going to be interesting. But I would love to hear what you guys are saying on the live chat. And I do want to get to some news, Jeff, because one of the things that kind of relates to horror that certain somebody was going to try to bring back left the project apparently, and that's Neil Blomkamp, who tweeted out
alien stuff.
That
did he leave the project?
Well, he said he's going to go work on other things because they're trying to figure out Prometheus 2 and Alien and how that fits together. This kind of bummed me out. Jeff, I saw you on Twitter saying it bummed you out.
It didn't bum me out because I didn't believe any of this shit in the first place.
Oh.
I mean, this has been a movie that has been talked about on Twitter. This is not like a real thing. Like, no one in Hollywood who I talk to on a daily basis talks about the Alien franchise.
Okay.
Like,
so is this him tweeting out some of his work, so to speak? Like, hey, I drew some fun sketches of Ripley and, in this from continuation of Aliens.
Listen, it's so all over the place. I haven't even followed it because I know he keeps tweeting out photos and it's like it's a gun. And so you're assuming, oh, these guns are in the movie. Like, none of this stuff is real.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it's weird.
Yeah.
It seems like they wanted to do another Alien movie with Neil Blomkamp, and then Ridley was just kind of like, I'm coming in and Bigfooting everybody, which he can since he just directed The Martian.
Well,
and Neil has to kind of walk away with his tail between his legs.
And you said it in your tweet. It's just there was really no news. There was just a lot of people talking, and that's what happened with Ridley Scott.
Fox may have made one announcement about this stuff officially.
Yeah.
The rest was just two guys talking to the press because the press never stops asking them during the Martian junket and all this stuff.
Well, and that's what happened.
And that's where the steady stream of news comes from. It seemed like it changed on a daily basis.
It did. I mean, Ridley Scott dropped 18 comments and people wrote 18 conversations. It was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing this next. Oh yeah, it's called Prometheus 2. Oh yeah, it's Alien, Prometheus, Paradise Lost, Alien.
Honestly, it's like, I think a lot of people don't get. These celebrities are just under pressure to answer your question.
Right.
That's all. They just have to say something, anything. They have to play nice and play the game. But
yeah. But then we write about it because there's clicks involved.
Yeah, I don't know.
And for the Alien franchise, I'm interested because I love that. Do you like Alien?
Yeah.
That's one of my. That's technically a horror movie, I guess you could say.
The first one is.
First one.
I love the franchise.
I love the franchise too.
Really excited about it. And I liked the mythology, and I liked, how Ridley Scott was exploring it in Prometheus. Like I don't think anyone thinks it's like a great movie.
I know it was divisive, but like people were.
I enjoy Prometheus a lot.
I admired the effort.
Yeah.
It was ambitious, and I look forward to seeing what he's going to do with the sequel.
Yeah.
I think he may incorporate some of the ideas that Neil Blomkamp was working with. Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, it just seemed like there was too much overlap, and the Alien franchise is not strong enough to have supported both those movies.
Yeah, that was
That's
confusing.
what I never got. Like,
right.
that doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah.
For me as a reporter.
I
was like, there's never going to be two Alien movies like coming in the same year or even 1 year apart. Like, it's just not that big.
Shared universe with Jedi? What? No? Oh, fine. Well, yeah, say what you will about, Alien versus Predator was just there.
I enjoy it.
You enjoy them?
It's Guilty Movie Pleasures. That's my second one that I'm going to do. I did Freddy versus Jason this week. They're bringing me back
I love
for
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason is just a
delight.
It's a horrible story, but man, is it fun to watch.
It is.
So,
and I have to plug this week's episode of The Goldberg since it did feature Alien and Predator.
Did it?
It did.
Yeah, Adam was the alien, his mom dresses as the Predator.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. Goldberg's such a great show. I have it on my DVR. I'm waiting to see it.
Yeah, that's the Alien stuff. We can leave that alone because it's just conjecture.
Exactly. So we'll move on. What else is out there? What do you want to talk?
I was actually going to ask you, Clark. Do you pay attention to the Blood List at all?
Oh yes, I know that it came out yesterday, but I haven't taken a look at it yet.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was a little disappointing. A lot of the stuff was like they're in a haunted house. But is the house really haunted, or are they going crazy? Like, a lot of this, is this really happening, or is the protagonist going crazy? But there was one that stood out. I wanted to get your thoughts on the list.
Yeah, I read it, and nothing's really stood out to me. I don't remember much of anything.
There was one.
And I read the list.
There was one that popped to me. And it was John Scott III's Parable X.
Okay.
So it was like this guy basically kills two people. And then he walks into the police station, and he's like, "I'm the guy who killed these 2 people, and you told me to."
That's right. Some time travel thing.
Yeah, you, the police officer, told me to in the future because these 2 people who I killed were going to commit a terrorist act.
Ooh.
Like, that to me is a great fucking premise for a movie.
That sounds good.
Very
the way you,
interesting.
I mean, it's like a source code-ish a little,
right?
But
I can't bring it up. Why are you doing this, internet? Okay, there we go. I wanted to. No,
I really dug it.
Never mind.
So yeah, the Bloodlist it's like the Blacklist, but it's for genre scripts. Kaylee Marsh puts it together every year.
Yeah,
and it's just something I kind of look forward to as a guy in the industry to see, because I root for horror actively.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
Is this going to get these writers meetings, or any of these projects going to get bought off this? I don't know.
It still seems like one of those genres that you can write a good horror script and it's an original idea and it gets picked up because they tend to be a lower scale budget to make. And the genre is the star, if you will. So I'm interested in that stuff as well, and I want to look at it again. So, but what else? What are some news stories out there? Should we touch on news out there?
Yeah,
Go
sure.
right to horror news. Get Clark involved
Was there any real horror news? I mean, other than Friday the 13th getting pushed again.
Yeah,
and it's so funny how they have to keep pushing it 6 months at a time to find a Friday the 13th.
Right, I know.
That's hilarious to me.
Now it's fun. I did want to talk about this because I read Dread Central's report on this. It got pushed again. At one point, there was a found footage idea rolling around, and I liked that idea. And I don't know why. I love the iconic look of Jason. There's something about it.
That with the lo-fi.
Yeah, just like there's something in me that like just a quick glimpse of Jason in the woods.
Right.
Like that hockey mask there, if done right.
Yep, I agree.
I know it sounds pretty, they're going to jump on the bandwagon with this, but it's Friday the 13th. I do like it. However, it's getting pushed again. Why? What do you know? Clark, have you heard?
I mean, I don't even know if there's a script yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is just something.
It's not cast.
Yeah, I think that they just, it gets, like we were talking about earlier with clicks. I mean, Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th is just such a franchise that the fans love.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever go anywhere. And so I think they're going to forever say, that they're making this movie.
Paramount needs to make movies. They have a very thin slate.
Yeah.
I think that the movie is going to get made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The problem is, it contributes to bad buzz when you keep pushing the movie, and that's because you're just choosing arbitrary dates. That's the problem. It's that these fucking movies get release dates before they have screenplays.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they back in July it said that the reboot draft was turned in. So obviously some movement. Maybe I don't know if this is true or not. I picked an article where the David Bruckner and Platinum Dunes are excited to make a great Friday the 13th movie. Of course they are going to say that.
What are these? Yeah.
But they don't know the schedule.
What
of
do
course.
you guys think about the Friday the 13th TV show that they're talking about for the CW?
Yeah, I love that idea. It's like different times where Jason's involved. I love that idea. Again, I grew up with Friday the 13th. My 13th birthday was Friday the 13th, part 7.
That's awesome.
I got everybody to go
You're my
to
kinda
see
geek.
that,
That's
see
very
cool. I love
this
you, Mark.
movie. Well, I love you, Jeff. and I just love it because that's when Jason went against a psychic, or like not she can move things with her mind.
Telekinetic?
I guess that's what it's called, Clark.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Telekinesis.
I mean, that's back in the 90s ridiculous stuff, and that got me, and so we're still talking about him now. I just hope they do something. I would love to see him come back, but I would love a gritty one, real. They tried with the reboot, and I didn't like it too much.
I don't know. There really wasn't too much horror news this week, which was a little disappointing.
There was a little bit about the Halloween kind of return. It's Halloween Returns.
Really?
Yeah, I found an article. See, I actually did. This is how much I love horror.
Mark did research.
I did research. So the Halloween Returns is apparently taking place where Michael Myers is going to get the death sentence, be killed on camera, and people come to see it, and then he escapes, and all hell breaks loose.
I like that.
That's an interesting synopsis.
Yeah, that's. But then, what's his name? I can't pronounce his name. He's the producer on it.
Akkad?
Yes, Akkad. Yeah. He came out and they're starting. He said they're in an interview that they're starting from scratch. So I think it's getting pushed for a while. I don't think we're going to see it for a while, and that's just sad.
That may be for the best, though.
Yeah, because I love, again, the Halloween movie franchise, again, is something I love. Clark, how do you feel about the Halloween franchise?
You know, it's interesting. I'm not a huge franchise person.
Yeah.
So I love usually the originals. Sometimes I like a sequel. But mostly I don't stop at number 1. I'll give number 2 a try,
Sure.
and then I'm usually like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I like Paranormal so much, is because there's actual new mythology involved where you're
Right.
like, oh, okay, interesting. But I love the original Halloween movie, and you know, I don't have strong feelings about Rob Zombie's movies either way,
Yeah.
because whatever.
Yeah,
Do we need a new one though?
No, do we need a new one of any of these?
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard to come up with new boogeymen. The last one really was, Jigsaw?
yeah,
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw.
You know, I think
would say-
Toby? I don't fucking
No.
Does that count?
I think
Samara?
they really. I was about to say with Samara, actually, they really, I think, screwed the pooch with not making The Ring 2 awesome. Because you know, by this point, with technology the way that it is,
Yeah.
so easily The Ring concept could be, you know, transformed into a digital video, a Vine.
Right.
You know.
You know, it's funny. They pushed Rings.
Yeah.
You should be pitching Paramount this shit.
I know.
They could use it.
Hey, everybody, Clark's available. You
I'm
said
very
she said it.
available.
You know, she's got some ideas, folks.
I got all the ideas.
These,
Yeah.
No, if there was any quote unquote horror news or genre news that hit this week that excited me, it was the Lizzie Borden movie.
What was new about that?
Yeah.
They're doing another one?
That Chloe Sevigny and Kristen Stewart are going to star.
That's right.
In a Lizzie Borden movie. Now, this is very near and dear to my heart. I wrote a Lizzie Borden script in
Really?
college.
Oh.
I grew up, a few towns over from Fall River, Massachusetts, where Lizzie allegedly committed those crimes, and she was acquitted.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was a brilliant idea. It was depressing watching the Christina Ricci Lifetime thing.
Oh, well, Lifetime thing. You just explained it.
To me, she's like a female Hannibal Lecter, and an actress could actually win an Oscar for playing Lizzie Borden if it's done well. You know, Charlize won an Oscar for playing a serial killer.
Yeah.
So, Chloe Sevigny. So this is basically the HBO miniseries that I announced 4 years ago at Variety.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Playtone is executive producing. Tom
Yeah,
Hanks.
Playtone.
Bryce Cass, who was writing the script back then, wrote this script. And Chloe Sevigny is going to play Lizzie, and Kristen Stewart's going to play the live-in maid, Bridget Sullivan, who may or may not have had a lesbian affair with Lizzie. And this was back in the 1890s, super scandalous. That's one of the theories about Lizzie, that she killed her parents because they found out about it.
Interesting.
Have you read, or you should read, and all of you should read, you too, Clark, the Cases That Haunt Us by John Douglas. He's he's an FBI profiler, and he goes back to all these cases. Lizzie Borden is one of them.
I want to check that out.
And
I
he
like
breaks
that
it down.
kind of
It's
stuff.
like OJ. It's like the Lindbergh baby. It's like Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, back in the day, like, people don't understand, because Lizzie Borden has just become a fucking nursery rhyme, that in the 1890s, no men thought a woman was capable of committing 2 axe murders.
Right.
You know, so like
that's fascinating.
That's why she got off.
Well, you should read the Cases That Haunt Us.
It was pretty interesting.
That story, that break on that story alone
sounds super interesting.
is so interesting.
I will
His
track
take.
that down.
Yeah.
Now, is this movie going to be still a miniseries on HBO?
No, it's
or
going to be
feature film?
it's an indie feature.
Got it.
Yeah,
Nice.
which I think is the way to do it.
Yeah, good. So go at it hard. You know,
Yeah.
like make it.
Anything
it good.
will be better than these Christina Ricci Lifetime things.
I agree. I agree.
Do we want? So that was really it as far as genre news.
Yeah, we covered a lot of horror stuff.
I have a ton of news. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
We
go
can
to
move
the
off
news.
horror.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a hopeful news break time?
Hopeful news break time. There it is. The jingle. We haven't done it in such a long time, guys. Hopeful news break. When we do it, we drop it on the Facebook page. Meet the Movie Press on the Facebook page. Give it a like, and we ask for your comments. You can also tweet at us at the Sneider and at Reilly Around. So we got a few. Let's start with what Clark sent in.
Ooh,
Which I love
sent in
this.
suggestion for your own episode.
I
That's
love
amazing.
it. She responded, and please,
I did. What is it called? Breaking.
hopeful news break.
Hopeful news break.
Yes.
The last 6 months have been a lie, and Cary Fukunaga is still going to direct the 2-part feature film adaptation of Stephen King's It.
Oh man, yeah.
That is super hopeful.
It's I know.
Pour
Jeff
one
knows.
out.
Yeah, I know. For my homie.
Yeah.
It's really sad that this didn't work because he not only was he doing something special with the telling of the story, but and I'm forgetting the actor he cast as Pennywise.
Will Poulter.
Thank
Will
you.
Poulter.
That would have been fantastic.
I agree.
I mean, he's just creepy.
He's not out necessarily.
Will.
I mean,
No.
It's Andy Muschietti, right?
Yeah,
He could still cast Will. I mean, obviously he's on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention real fast that the reason that this depresses me so much and I am so hopeful, which, come on, it's not going to happen, but is because, speaking of the genre, the idea that a credible, serious director wanted to make a horror movie, not a backdoor, it's a thriller. It's just a dark drama. No, he was saying, I want to kill some fucking kids. I want to scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
I want to take this Stephen King property and make 2 legit feature horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that somebody as credible as Fukunaga would want to do that and show interest in that, as a horror fan, that's what got me excited.
Interesting.
So
that's a very cool take on that. I think that a lot of these guys actually want to make horror movies.
I think they do.
Paul Thomas Anderson's been talking about doing a horror movie for a long time, right?
He's so cool.
Or Wes Anderson? Was it Wes? I know Wes Anderson came out recently.
Both of the
Maybe both of them.
Andersons.
Yeah, I know Wes Anderson just said recently he would love to do a horror movie as well.
There
but-
Will Be Blood is
Almost
basically
like
a horror movie. Yeah, I really do. Like, I could make that argument.
Daniel
Yeah.
Day-Lewis was scary good.
Yes, he sure was.
Yeah, well, let's.
That's my hopeful breaking
on
news.
Twitter, who tagged us all, Tomb Raider movie or TR Movie News. Nope, it's not Tomb Raider this time. We love you, TR Movie News. We know you want a Tomb Raider movie. We don't know anything about it though. He wants a Scream 5, a Silent Hill prequel, or Final Destination 6 and Shining prequel movie.
Shining prequel movie is happening.
Is happening. The Overlook Hotel. We don't know how close.
Moving very, very slow on that one. That thing's been around a long time.
It has been around. As far as Scream 5, I think Scream is over. I think it's going to live now on MTV as the show.
Yeah, I agree.
And Silent Hill prequel, don't know anything about it. I like the original. That's all right.
I think...
I actually never saw Silent Hill, so I won't comment, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah, it didn't. The first one didn't even do that well.
I think if Warcraft and some of these some of these other big video game adaptations hit,
right,
then as a result, people are going to start mining their video game reserves, and then I think that's when you're going to get people kind of dipping their toes back into the Silent Hills.
Interesting.
That's a good point. Over on the Facebook page.
Honestly, of all those, I always like Final Destination.
Yeah.
I really like that franchise, and
That was
I would
a
be
fun
down
franchise.
for a 6. Although,
Are we looking at a reboot though?
yeah, that's the thing. It's like once you put 6 in a movie title, it's
Right.
very
It's-
unappealing.
yeah.
It's that's when they usually go to a reboot.
The
so-
marked ones or the Ghost Dimension,
Yeah,
different
I know.
subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. And over at the Facebook page, this is a cool one. Mladen Kulik, I hope I pronounced it right. Love to see John Carpenter do another horror movie. That'd be awesome. I would love to see that. I think he's retired.
He did.
Is
yes
he?
and no. I think it was Seth Abramovich who did a really good interview with him recently on Howard Porter, and he asked Carpenter about that, and Carpenter was like, I'm working on some stuff. Like,
Oh, good.
it did sound like he really wasn't itching to get back behind the camera anytime soon.
Yeah.
Maybe he can take some of that money he just won from suing Luc Besson. Did you hear about
But
this?
yeah, he won $20,000.
Yeah, he won $20,000 for Luc Besson basically stealing Escape from New York.
Yes.
Idea. Pretty funny.
I spoke with John Carpenter last year, actually, when his album came out.
Oh, that's right.
And I, which is a cool album, by the way, guys. Yeah. But I did ask him, because Scream Queens had just been announced.
Right.
And Jamie Lee obviously had been announced to be attached. And I said, you think you're gonna direct? Why don't you go direct some Scream Queens?
There you go.
Then he's like, no, that's not for me. And I was like, do you think
that would be depressing?
I mean,
John Carpenter on TV.
Obviously, I was joking with the man. However, I did say to him, so do you think you're done for a while? And he's like, no, but it has to be the right thing. And I think that he really is enjoying working on playing video games,
Right.
making music. He's gonna go on tour. Didn't we just read about that or hear about that? That Carpenter's going to do some music dates?
I
Yeah,
don't
maybe.
know.
I'm pretty sure that I read that. And so, I could be wrong. I'm sure you guys can Google it
What
and
was
tell
his
us.
last film? Was it Vampires?
No, it was The Ward,
The Ward, that's right.
which is
Yeah.
Not good.
I don't think I saw it. I think I wanted to, and then I heard that.
You don't want to.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's finish off one more hopeful news break because I love this. And it's Lawrence London who said I would like John Landis to do a good old-fashioned tongue-in-cheek horror film.
Oh, man.
I would love that. The American Werewolf in London is one of my favorite horror movies as well. So it would be great to see John Landis come back and do that.
What was his last movie?
Yeah, I don't know. We had his son on, Max Landis. We should have asked him, but I think
Max is the man.
He's so cool. That guy is, man, his brain just a million miles a minute.
Works in a different way than ours.
Yeah, so thank you everyone. Hopeful Newsbreak was back and we read some out, so thank you as always. If you want to join the conversation, go to Meet the Movie Press on the Popcorn Talk Network Facebook page, like it and drop some in.
Landis's last movie was Burke and Hare.
Ooh, okay. We know nothing of this.
Yeah.
No. Or I don't. I won't speak for the
What year
panel.
was that?
It was with what's his name? Andy Serkis, I think, right?
Oh.
No. Who is it? I don't
know.
Tom Wilkinson, Michael Smiley. Who knows?
Okay.
Anyways,
Let's get some legit
Simon
news
Pegg
out
and Andy Serkis. That's what it was. Okay. There was plenty of news this week. We'll start with Luc Besson.
Okay. Oh, hey.
Valerian adding Rihanna.
Okay.
What do we think about Rihanna? From Battleship?
Yeah, she was so good in Battleship. So good. I'm totally kidding. I hated that movie. Clark? Yeah, no comment.
No comment.
What do we think about Luc Besson?
I love The Fifth Element.
I don't.
You don't love it?
No.
Clark, do you like Fifth Element?
I don't, hate it, but I would be lying if I said it was easy for me to get through.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Fifth Element guy. I love The Professional.
Well, The Professional is his best.
I didn't even, Lucy was okay.
Yeah, I didn't see Lucy.
I didn't see Lucy. Yeah.
He produced the Taken movies. I really like the first Taken, but
there
I'm
are no
very nervous about this movie, Valerian. It's like $180 million budget.
Really?
What?
Oh yeah, this is like an Avatar style, like gigantic movie.
And they cast Rihanna?
I'll put it this way. Christopher Nolan's movie is now coming out the same day as Valerian, and I've been asking for weeks, and they're not blinking.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, we're like Avatar. We're the new Avatar.
What studio is this?
It's his studio. It's like fucking EuropaCorp.
Whoa.
I forget.
And he's like, no, it's the next Avatar.
I think it has U.S. distribution somewhere. I just forget who.
Well, they will after Rihanna signs
hello.
on. But Christopher, good luck.
Yeah,
Mr. Besson.
We'll see about this. It's with Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne and Clive Owen. But this is a gigantic space opera like.
Well, the last gigantic space opera that we saw.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, that's right.
Did super well.
It could be closer to that. So
that's what I'm hearing.
We'll see. Rihanna, obviously a big star, but
Good for her.
I don't know if her audience is the type that will show up for this movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of space operas.
Yes.
Pom Klementif.
Yeah.
Joining Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Interesting. Yeah. The mystery role, they're saying. Key mystery role. Said Boris Kidd over at Hollywood Reporter.
Yep, he broke the story.
Did Kroll follow up with dropping that Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah,
that is what Kroll said, yeah.
Very interesting to me.
Yeah, that made some news, I think just because everybody would love to see Matthew McConaughey in a Marvel movie, and especially Guardians of the Galaxy. That's interesting. I don't know the script or anything.
People were speculating that they may have tried to cast him as Chris Pratt's dad.
Yeah.
I don't know the story. So is Star-Lord's father going to be a villain? Is that how it works?
I think the article that I read said that they're switching up some of the mythology a little bit from the comic for the screen.
Right.
And so I thought that he was McConaughey was specifically, if he was playing the dad, it was a more villain type role. But we know that that Star-Lord's mom referred to the dad as like some form of angel.
Right.
Yeah. So but I think in regards to like movie versus comic book, they're changing it a little bit.
Yeah, that's what James Gunn said. Yeah, that it's not the same origin father story. So I don't know. I mean, whether or not they're going to now go get somebody else. Pom, is it?
Yeah, Pom Klementif. What a beautiful name.
It's a beautiful name.
She's a pretty girl. She's got an interesting look.
Yeah, there's already a lot of speculation there that can tie, and I've heard Mantis is the part. Are you familiar, Clark, with any of the comics
no.
on that? I'm not
I love
either.
the movie, though.
I love the movie. The movie's fantastic.
It's my favorite
Did a
Marvel.
little research on it, and there's word of Mantis.
I just
and
love like within an hour of that casting news, it was like 4 characters who she could be playing in Guardians of the Galaxy.
You must be
2.
talking
Like,
about HitFix, because that's like all of a sudden it was just I saw that pop up. I'm like, they're
well, it's
on
just
it.
I'm amazed at like the speed with which some of these things are written.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess when you've read all the comics, you know what you're talking about.
That's
So yeah, there was that. There was Elizabeth Banks coming back to direct Pitch Perfect 3.
Not surprising. At
Not
all.
surprising. I actually thought because she signed on to a couple of other projects, including like a big one at Universal, I thought she would kind of go off and make a bigger movie. Or I mean, not that this isn't big, but like you're just filming fucking karaoke, right? A cappella performances.
I'm on record. You know me, guys on Schmoes know. Didn't like any of. I didn't see 2.
Really
Hated-
liked Pitch Perfect.
Didn't like Pitch Perfect. I
watched
could not
2. I watched
handle
2
it.
recently. It was a fucking obnoxious.
I
could not stand Pitch Perfect 2.
Clark, what about you?
I'm not happy about her coming back for Pitch Perfect 3. She seems above it.
I didn't see Pitch Perfect 2.
Okay.
I only saw the first one, and I thought the first one was cute.
Okay. Yeah.
You know where I was that weekend?
Where?
At Mad Max Fury Road.
But
There you go.
Again, it's tough for a female filmmaker to build a track record, and so if she has a hit on her resume now, and now presumably this will be a hit as well. Then she'll really have some clout to go out and do whatever she wants.
And that franchise is hers. She's been with Pitch Perfect
she's
since
produced
day
it,
one.
yeah.
And so I think it makes sense for her to, because I will say, because I didn't see the second movie, but I heard from a couple of people that the direction was just okay.
Yeah.
And so perhaps, she's playing it smart to, really go back and try again and learn what she's doing a little bit more so that she can go to these
Right, that
bigger
was her
projects.
first movie.
Yeah.
So, hopefully Pitch Perfect 3 will be a little bit better, and then she will move on to bigger and better things.
I just how are you doing this? I mean, they're just singing and then they graduate and then
It was just-
are we following them to the professional route?
It was like Crass, the sequel.
I mean,
That's what I've heard.
It was
like,
crass, and like the first one was sweet.
and are they?
It was different.
Yeah, and I just see this like concert of these Pitch Perfect people singing. Are people going to concerts of
Acapella music
groups?
groups is like a big thing
Honestly,
now.
that's
Okay.
the only exciting parts of the sequel, I thought, like with the performances, because you want to see how these girls are going to interpret some of these songs. But like everything in between was just filler crap. Anyway, speaking of crass sequels,
Yes.
Bad Santa 2.
Really? I did not hear this.
It's official. Last night, I got a press release at like 6:30 or something, 7
Wow.
o'clock. Kept me working late.
Okay.
But yeah, Broad Green, the indie distributor, is going to distribute in the U.S. It's coming out next holiday season. Boom, Billy Bob Thornton back. We're done deal.
Nice.
In.
Me too. And
Yeah, honestly, it's a brilliant move for Broad Green, taking a movie that like everyone involved has sort of been talking about making. There just hasn't been like the money for it. But I think that the way that film has grown over the years, like its cult audience and following, and you can replay these holiday movies each year. I think it's a great call for Broad Green getting in on that with Miramax.
And it's Bad Santa, which is one of the best holiday best comedies out
Yeah.
I
there.
actually didn't love Bad Santa.
You
Really?
didn't.
No, I
you
wasn't.
are crazy.
I
Get out.
I never really loved it. It has grown on me though, like Anchorman had, because I didn't love Anchorman the first time I saw Anchorman.
Wow. Okay.
Or The
Interesting.
Cable Guy. Those,
Cable Guy.
Bad Santa's one of those movies that has grown on me on home video.
Yeah, that relationship with the kid. Can they bring the
I didn't
kid
love it
back?
the first time.
the
God.
kid. That relationship with the kid.
What was it, Thurman Merman?
It's something like that. He
It's
puts
so
the
good.
candy in the. Oh my God.
Billy
So
Bob is a national treasure.
Listen,
He really is.
It is a good movie. I just, for some reason, I remember being. When did it come out? 2002,
Who knows?
2003.
A long time ago.
I just remember not loving it when it first came out. But
Okay.
some movies are like that.
Hey guys, and I see you on the chat board. Yes, Joe Blow just dropped a very spoilery Batman scoop. That's for-
Another one?
Yeah, that's for I don't really want to comment on
Guys,
that stuff.
yeah, I don't know. Again,
It's I mean they're ruining.
yeah,
I almost said
they're ruining the
ruining.
movie. Thank you.
They're throwing wonderful twists that could possibly happen. I looked at it. Great.
Is it that you
we're not
think
gonna
that
talk
your
about it.
readers want that stuff? Is it that you're showing off that you can get
that you
the
can get
information
this?
and know
Clark,
it?
What do you think about these We're in a spoiler culture now, where especially for the companies that I work with, or like with Schmoes know we do scoops, but. It seems like everybody's trying to ruin the movie for everybody
Yes.
and get it out there and being like, hey, see that?
Yeah.
That was us. And I get it. I get it. People want to read spoilers. There's a lot of people out there that are wanting us to talk about it. But it's spoilery. It's ruining something Warner Brothers is trying to set up, if it's true. So what do you think of that?
I don't read them.
Great, there you go.
I mean, flat out. I'll watch, one trailer. I'll watch like the first trailer, and that's it. I've learned my lesson too many times by consuming these types of, clips and new trailers that are coming out closer to the release date, and reading all this nonsense. I like to have as clean of a slate as possible.
I agree.
I've seen the 2 major Star Wars trailers, and that's it. Like, I'm not reading anything. I don't want to speculate.
Right.
I want to go on the ride, and I understand, like, for people like Christian or Mark, like, they love and live and breathe that stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it, but because if I were a fan of, I don't know what I would be a fan of that would like make me want to dig that deep, because I just want to have the natural experience.
I get the impulse to look. I mean, I wrote for Ain't It Cool News. I grew up reading all those stories, but to me, it just indicates a certain lack of respect for the filmmaker. And I'm just not a fan of that shit.
You know what I hate is that I'm in this business and I have to look at these things.
Right.
Because then I get the people I'm working with, they're like, we need to cover this because we need to get, our analytics are down. So, and it's so, God, I hate it
There's
sometimes.
just no discretion, okay? And it's like because the trade reporters know a lot of shit about these movies, but
you're not going there.
I feel like the trades do a good job of shielding the readers from knowing too much.
Look, you're not.
It's
the
just
trades aren't doing
just,
what
if
these.
If you write for a JLo, just because somebody tells you something doesn't mean you need to go tell the world. Like sometimes that can just be for you.
Yeah.
Right, and you know what? I've actually turned away from some of those things. No, that's I don't want to go there. And it's just, but I just wish the culture was different, and I guess I have to play that way sometimes, and I'm gonna have to cover that thing now.
I wish that every movie did it like Cloverfield, where a trailer just appeared.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody knew. It just
was a really cool experience. Yeah. No one knew.
And one poster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
And the name of the movie.
What's the name of the movie?
What the hell is the name?
Yeah.
And it was great. So it was great.
Yeah, we got 2 other. We have to wrap up soon.
Yeah,
I feel
we should
like.
wrap up
we just
soon.
have 2 quick stories we'll touch upon. Common is the villain in John Wick 2.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Good stuff.
Thumbs up or down?
That's thumbs up for me. Yeah. I love John Wick.
I'm gonna go thumbs down.
Yeah. You don't like Common?
He doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
He just registers as like a person moving with a gun, like in Run All Night. I don't know. It's just his screen presence.
Yeah.
I find lacking.
Okay. I can buy
He's
that.
been around. Like I was checking out his credits. Like he's been in a lot of shit. Terminator, Salvation, Wanted.
Yeah.
A lot of things like
liked
that.
him in
But again,
Wanted.
I can't remember him in any of these fucking movies. He hasn't really made a strong impression.
Okay.
So.
I get it. All right.
Okay. And finally, Ocean's 11 reboot with Sandy Bullock.
Yeah.
Leading some bad bitches.
Yeah. I like
PC?
this idea. I think it's great. I just the only negative I'll say is like we get the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And then now it's the Thing. Is it the Thing?
Well, right, because didn't
And
we
I'm
just-
walking a delicate line here because I am all for more powerful women in movies directing all these wonderful things that are happening. But I don't like trends that people follow and let's just throw this up and hope we get some success with it. If it's worthy of a story, then do it.
Well, again,
and I think this is actually worthy of a story.
So here's the thing. So IndieWire broke this, and it's
Yeah.
the playlist blog, and they don't break a lot of news, but
Right.
they break a lot of Soderbergh news. They definitely have someone in that Soderbergh camp, if not Steven himself.
There you go.
So that's why I believe it.
Oh, I believe it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they're very
The
reliable.
the problem I think I have is maybe connecting it to the Ocean's franchise.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have a female heist movie?
Yeah.
Essentially, with the
Thank
same
you.
structure and whatnot. Why does it need to be a part of that? Maybe it's just because it has the same people involved, like Clooney producing. I forget all the details of the story. Warner Brothers still is not confirmed yet. I haven't checked my email this morning, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I like the idea of whether it's a female heist movie or a female Expendables or those kinds of large
we're
female
getting a
ensemble
female
things.
Expendables as
We
well.
are.
Allegedly.
We are.
Allegedly,
We
yeah.
are. I'll drop a little news on that. So
Okay.
it is called The Bells, from what I'm told.
Nice,
So maybe
okay.
they are distancing it a little from the Expendamen.
Okay, I like
of the
Bells.
whole
That's a
thing.
great-
I think it's just called the
Expendables.
Bells now.
By the way, you just gave everybody their Friday for covering that. You know how it is. Jeff says these things just kind of off the cuff.
Is that really a thing? I mean, they cut 5 letters from the title. Big deal.
They're going to cover this.
That can just be for our readers. We don't need to fucking write articles about it.
Nope, it's going to be written. I'll tell you, somebody's writing it right now.
And obviously I love Sandra Bullock, and I think a heist movie is kind of perfect for her.
Yeah,
with her as the leader of it. So,
you
who would you like to see in it?
Oh man,
I know.
Who would I? Rose Byrne. I want Rose Byrne in everything.
I love her.
I love Rose Byrne, yeah.
I love her too, and she's just the person I always want to cast in everything. But I wanted to mention that just what's interesting to me about this Ocean's idea is that the original movie came out when 2000 something.
Yeah.
So in about 10 or so years, like the idea that there was not a single woman in that whole team, and 10 years later, now it's like, we're going to have a whole team of ladies.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so much, I feel like...
Did you need a woman in Ocean's 11?
Totally.
No.
I would have liked a lady on that team. I would have, as a lady.
The whole point is it's about 11 dudes.
I mean...
Well,
that's like the whole point, and Julia Roberts is the dame.
Yeah,
the dame.
I get it, but again, the idea that like now things have changed so much that it's an entire team of women. I'm on board with like
You want a mixed gender team?
Yeah, that's.
By the way, I think that this will be a mixed gender team. I think that there will be a guy because. Well, yeah, studios just have a hard time keeping guys out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and why would we want to?
There needs to be a character for us to connect to.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know. Like, what if there was a guy in the Pitch Perfect sorority team? You know?
Yeah,
Why not?
I don't mind that.
Why not?
I don't mind that at all.
Guys can sing too.
It's just interesting, like,
blood?
yeah.
How Hollywood continues to separate the sexes a little.
Yeah.
That's okay. Fair enough.
And also how we went from having no ladies to all ladies. I find that like so bizarre.
Right.
They did bring in Catherine Zeta-Jones for the sequel, right?
They did. Yeah, Ocean's 12.
Or was that 13?
No, it was was it? I can't remember.
But anyway, I like the first Ocean's movie a lot.
Well, they brought Ellen Burstyn in for
13.
Ocean's 13. Yeah. So I like the idea. Just I love Sandra Bullock, so her heading this up is great, and Rose Byrne's a great call.
She's got the right amount of charisma.
Yeah, I just
play a female Danny Ocean.
Yeah, let's just not no offense, but let's just not cast Melissa McCarthy in it. Though let's just keep moving on that one, and cause she seems to be in every single female-driven movie.
There were those rumors that her and Melissa didn't get along. Sandy and Melissa on The Heat. Remember?
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Then
they've turned played that down and like taken their kids trick or treating and stuff together.
There you go. They're back.
But I remember those rumors. So maybe there's nothing to them. Anyways, that's pretty much all the time we have this week. So.
Yes, we do. And Clark Wolf, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having
you were
me,
wonderful.
guys.
Yeah, I love your thoughts on horror movies. So where can people find you?
Yes, you can find me on the Instagrams, Twitters, and Periscope at Clark Wolf, Clark with an E, Wolf with an E, and on YouTube, youtube.com/official Clark Wolf.
Nice.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy Halloween.
Yes, be safe out there.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, guys, please don't drinking and driving, and check your candy before you eat it. That's what my mom always told me. As always, guys, I am at Reilly Around. You can find me on Twitter there, REILLY. And I'm editor-in-chief.schmoesknow.com. You can find me there, and please rate, subscribe, send this around, and tell your friends about it. Jeff, where can they find you?
Jeff Sneider at the Sneider on Twitter. Find my musings at therap.com. And yeah, happy Halloween, gang.
Happy Halloween. We will see you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.